What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uberkooledgarage. On this week's episode, in the first part of the episode, we're going to be working on the bug a little bit. I know that I said that I was going to keep them separate, but I really wanted to put this portion of the bug stuff into this video because it is a very large first step for the bug. I definitely have a couple things to work out, but it is getting there. It's getting really close. And then in the second half of the video, we're going to be hopping into Ryan's 70 Ghia. Gonna start digging through some stuff. Went through and looked over a lot of the car just to make sure that everything's gonna work out kind of the way that I was thinking it was going to. So I'm going to start cleaning that up and get a whole bunch of ideas and stuff for that. So videos now will be on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. I'm going to try really hard to get back to my weekly videos. I know that it helps you guys out and it gets you guys excited for the next video. When you know when it's coming out. My work has slowed down a little bit. I'm no longer staying out of town, so the work on both of these cars should be substantial in the next couple weeks. Definitely going to be hammering out a lot of both of these cars. So let's hop into this video and hope you guys enjoy. Okay, guys, so I am back after a very long 2 weeks of work. Ended up having to stay to finish out that job, but now I am back and I don't think I'm going back to that job. It is basically wrapped up. If I do have to go back, it's only going to be for a day. So no more faraway jobs for me for a while. So now it's time to get into both of these cars, get them all knocked out. As you can see, I have a lot of the bug put back together. I basically have some suspension stuff set up where it is. The shift mechanism is all bolted together. So as you can see, it's up on the jack. I'm going to fire it up and check and see if I have all the gears. And then we'll go from there. the Bug does move under its own power. Rear suspension's not completely done, so it toes in and toes out as I move it. And front suspension or front steering geometry is a complete mess. So I'm gonna have to go through and redesign all of that stuff. But it is now time to start on Ryan's car. So I'm gonna get this motor up on the cherry picker and start checking everything, going over all of it, and then we'll kind of do musical cars here in a little bit and try and get Ryan's Ghia into the garage. That way I can work on it more during the night, which is when I do the majority of my work anyway. So let's get this up on a cherry picker and start taking measurements, going through everything, looking at all of it, and see what all we need. Okay, so we got our first little minor issue. As you can see down here, this is a Subaru Gears engine mount. It comes with different mounting plates or mounting holes for the frame horns and all that stuff. So usually this is for like a EJ series motor. So the EZ motors are a little bit different. So you can see here that the guide pin on the actual motor mount doesn't line up with the actual hole. So I think what I might do, I tried pulling these off, the actual motor mounts off, and flipping them around. Nothing lines up that way. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut off the nub here, and either I don't know yet. So I'm probably gonna have to cut those off, get the motor where it's bolted up, and then I'm either going to not be able to run a guide mount, or might have to weld on a different guide mount. The EJ is in front of it. So let's see if I can get you in there to see it. So you can see back there that the secondary hole is back there. That's usually for the EJ guide pin. So I'll probably end up cutting these off. That way I can get the motor fitted in the car, and I will see what I have to do from there. But nub those off. Pretty quick, easy solution to that. Get the motor mount bolted up to this, and then I can start getting everything else situated. There's a new gear here for the crank position from out front, so I'll go ahead and pop that on, get the flywheel on, the clutch installed, and then we'll hop over into the trans, get that finished off, and get this thing in the car, do a bunch of test fits. It's kind of nice with Ryan's car, the engine bay isn't all cut up yet, so I can get this to fit in there perfectly without hacking up the entire thing. Kind of Zach's car, they chopped out way more than they should have, but with this one, we're gonna keep it nice, clean, nice and tight, but still be able to get the engine in and out if it ever has to. So go ahead and nub those off, get the engine plate mounted up, and then we will start digging into the rest of it. Okay, well, next up on the list is the wiring. Need to see what exactly is going on here. In the box, there was, it looks like a bunch of old wiring parts, and I'm not 100% sure on what that is there. But on the actual ECU, that runs the relays, fuel pump, fan motor, and then probably for the actual ECU itself. Runs through. I got a small bunch of wires here that I need to figure out what they go to. I also have a purple, and it looks like a engine ground here. And then I need to figure out what yellow and green go to. But it looks like I have a crank trigger, and then the TPS, it looks like I have all 6 cylinder injectors and coil packs. And then there's a couple more. This one here is a vacuum line. And then it looks like I have coolant temp sensor here and a couple other ones. So I need to go through all of this wiring and see exactly what it says in the book. So just because there is a couple things on here that aren't in this wiring harness that are on the motor, like the NOx sensors, alternator control stuff, and a couple other things. I don't know if this ECU needs a wideband or not, so I'll have to look into that and see what it is. But I know for a fact already that all of the injectors, all of the coil packs, basically everything on this motor needs to come off wiring wise. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all of this apart. I don't have any flywheel bolts or clutch bolts at the moment, so I gotta hold off on that until I can pick some up. And we'll just start cleaning this motor up, getting all the wiring that isn't needed off of it, and getting all the sensors and all that stuff that we don't need off of this thing, and get it all nice and cleaned up. You saw me pull off the heater hoses. There's obviously no heater in this car, so these will just get looped, and that works out pretty good. So I'm gonna go through and start cleaning stuff up and pull off what I don't need. Well, got a lot of the stuff cleaned up, took off all the unnecessary brackets, brushed it down with some acetone. I'm probably going to clean up the front just a little bit more, try and get the dipstick and stuff like that clean, but a little bit of a wire brush scrub with some acetone works really, really well on these motors. It's not perfect, but it is 100 times cleaner than it was. The best part about this is basically the entire wiring harness is plugged in. So I'm still going to go ahead and clean up the wiring, get them all zip tied so then they're all nice and clean and straight and ready to go. But that's basically it. That's the entire wiring harness here. These here go, there's my vacuum line. That's got to go into the intake manifold somewhere. This is the manifold ground, and then this one here is the oil pressure, alternator light, coolant temp, sender, and one other thing, I believe. So other than that, we're all cleaned up, got rid of all the brackets and everything. I am going to delete this sensor here. I'll pull off the EGR. So I'll pull that off, put a cap in that, clean that up. These bolts will come out. This can be blocked off if I wanted to, as well as that. So there's a couple more things that can be deleted, but I think I'm probably just going to leave them. And then we'll keep cleaning on this thing and get it completely ready to drop in the car. So I am going to order some flywheel bolts and some clutch bolts. Hopefully those will be here in the next day or two. That way I can get all that stuff bolted up, and I will finish off the transmission. And we should be ready to throw this in the car probably by the end of the week. Okay, well, I haven't talked about the transmission yet. So we do have a Subaru Trans with a Subaru Gears reverse pinion and nose cone. So need to go ahead and set the lash on this. We'll probably do that next episode. I get this transmission pulled apart. I'll clean up the case. Ryan did ask me to paint this, possibly. So I talked to him about paint colors on everything. If he wants to paint the block or the front cover, transmission, all that stuff. So I'll talk to him about that, see what colors he wants to go with. But we'll go ahead and pull this apart, get the lash on there, make sure that everything's good, check over all the gearing, and I have to stake the all-wheel drive lockout, so I'll make sure all that's all good as well. So the Trans will work out awesome. I have to come up with a shift coupling for it. You gotta build one. So luckily enough, I have extra shifting parts from my transmission. So we'll go ahead and use those on this, because you saw in the previous episode that I have completely built a different shift mechanism for mine. So we'll get this transmission put together, painted, bolted up to the motor, and get it into the car. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you on this one. In next video, Ryan's car, we will get the motor and transmission into the car and get it all situated, start digging into some other little bits here and there. Start cleaning everything up. I'm probably going to mount the motor and trans in the car, and then probably pull it back out, clean a bunch of stuff, and get a little bit further along with that. The front suspension in the Bug is not quite there. I have to work on steering geometry a little bit and change up the front spindles just a little bit more. And then we should be able to get into brakes and actually be able to drive this thing a little bit, see how it does, and then we will bring it back to the house after the drive and probably pull it apart to finish welding everything out, and then we'll start getting into paint. So very, very excited about the Bug stuff. Extremely excited about Ryan's car. Should be a really, really fun build. So until the next video, see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.